Today's video is all about using Dollar Tree spackling for our fall projects. These are really fun to put together, easy, simple ideas, but get you to think outside of the box. Please leave me a big thumbs up and let's get on into it. For this project, I'm actually using two sets of these book stack craft items from Dollar Tree. Now, I had to purchase these online, but I really wanted them, but I had to purchase them in a bulk order, so I think it was a minimum of 12. So I have tons of extra of these, and they actually work to flip them upside down as a planter. Now, you can do the wooden crates just like this, but these are a little bit bigger even than the largest crate that Dollar Tree sells, so I feel like this works perfect and they are a nice solid piece. So this is the perfect base to add some spackling to. So I am going to go ahead and glue those two together and just start piling on the spackling. Now, I always like to fill out the texture of the spackling It seems like every jar that I crack open, or every little tub, is a different consistency. So I like whenever you open it up and the spackling is not just really thick and dry. So if it is this way, I do add a little bit of water and it makes it so much easier to apply it to any project. Just like a couple of drops of water. Don't add too much because then it's just a runny mess. But for this, I got it the perfect consistency and just put it all over the edges. And I am getting in here in all of these projects and just getting messy, but you definitely can feel free to wear a pair of gloves if you want. I paint this a medium gray color. Now, the spackling really does want to soak up a lot of paint, so I like to use acrylic paint, but I also use chalk paint. Either one would work. I go over it with a little bit of darker to give it more of that concrete look. I know I am seeing concrete pieces everywhere, so it's very popular right now. And after I got this just how I wanted it, I let it dry and then start putting in some flowers. I love these big cream colored sunflowers, so I'm putting those in the front and then just filling in the back with anything that I had. I had some of this colorful boxwood and then going in with some colorful little sunflowers. I was absolutely amazed to find all of these huge pieces at Dollar Tree. This haunted house really caught my eye, and I knew I could do something really fun with it with the spackling. So for this one, once again, adding some water in here just so it's easier to apply. I'm mixing that really well, and then just applying it to the wood. Now, you can apply spackling straight to wood pieces because it has a little bit of a texture and a matte finish, but if it's anything shiny, I like to go ahead and paint it first. But for projects like this, I do end up doing 2 coats just because it feels like the first coat just kind of really sticks to the wood and goes on really smooth. And then if you want to build this up and get a ton of texture, go ahead and let that completely dry and then do a second coat. I am taking this outside and spray painting it with some flat black spray paint. This is going to be perfect to set up and decorate with. I'm going to pair it with some lights, and it might not look like much at first, whenever you're making it, but trust me, whenever you set this up and start decorating with it, it is the cutest thing. I paired it with some pumpkins and ghosts and absolutely love it. So I tested using spackling with stencils earlier on in the year, and I made a mini little sunflower sign, but I had to make a fall version of that. So I have this huge stencil. This come off of Temu. I love getting stencils there. They're very inexpensive, and you can get tons of stencils in a pack at a really great price. But I am actually going to be coloring this spackling. So this was the first time I did it. I did notice it wanted to get a little bit thin, so don't add too much paint, but I am using a paintbrush and applying this super thick, so it's going to have a ton of texture. And I like to go ahead and remove the stencil while it's wet, so I can go ahead and get that stencil washed off before anything dries and sticks to it forever. But I love the texture. I'm trying to show you all what it looked like. I thought it'd be really cute to put a word across the middle, and especially in a coordinating color to the frame, as well as the brown color that would be in the middle of a sunflower. So I picked out this metal harvest word. I do use my heat gun here to dry this. I was kind of in a hurry, and these little metal words take 2 coats every time unless you spray paint them. So dried this up, glued it right on top, and I think it is so cute. I feel like the brown just fits perfectly inside of that yellow sunflower. So as you can tell, it's definitely one of my favorites to dress up little planters. For this one, I wanted to make like a concrete looking planter. Now I did this on a bigger scale for like a huge fern, so I wanted to do it on this smaller one. I have lots of these flower and garden metal tubs left over from the summer, so definitely putting this to good use. Like I mentioned before, this is a shiny finish, or this metal tub has a shiny finish, so I am going ahead and priming that just with some white paint. It's going to give it a matte finish, so the spackling will adhere to it a lot better. And then just putting the spackling all the way around and painting this the same way, letting this completely dry and then painting it with some light gray paint. After I get this painted though, I do go in with some like stone spray paint and just like not use too much, but just kind of lightly going over it to give it more of that concrete finish. Keep in mind that you can also use the same technique for any type of ceramic pumpkin, so it's really great to shop around thrift stores or even the Dollar Tree, how they have tons of different colorful pumpkins, and some of them aren't even painted very well, so I like to grab those and paint them with that same gray color and then spritzing over it with a little bit of the stone paint. But I love how this turns out. I'm filling it full of some of my fall floral picks. I noticed that I am kind of running low on these, so I definitely want to pick up some more. I like to go ahead and take a pair of pliers, cut them free from the little pick at the bottom so that I have more control about how the flowers are going to look in the tub, but just arrange these how I like them, and I feel like it's that perfect pop of fall color. Okay, so I've kind of been obsessed with turning these little plain candles into something really fun. Now I shared like a thrift flipped candle that I found, like a set of 3 candles at the thrift store, and I just painted them gray. But for this project I actually wanted to give them that thick like texture of stone or concrete, so I take these slick little candles, and you can paint these. I just went ahead and skipped that because it seemed like the spackling was sticking pretty well to it, so I go ahead and let the spackling dry. You can tell that I did a very thin coat, but that texture is going to show up. I painted over this with some gray paint, let that dry, and then I didn't worry about taping off the little light bulbs at the top because you can actually just pick away any paint very easily. But I went ahead and painted the little tops, but these look just like concrete and I absolutely love them. These little circular signs are perfect to DIY with because you can put something in the middle and call it good. I put a gnome in there and several things throughout the years, but for this one I wanted to really dress up this pumpkin with some spackling, so you can see that I am kind of struggling. That's what I'm talking about whenever the spackling's too dry, so I do go ahead and add a little bit of water to this and it goes on so much nicer, trying to stay with like the curvature of the pumpkin or how it would look and going like that direction on both sides. And then I wanted to mix this up, so I didn't want to paint an orange pumpkin. I'm going for this moss green color, which I know this green color is everywhere for fall time. It is so beautiful, so go ahead, paint that, and then taking a little bit of my brown paint, I'm mixing the 2 colors together to really add in some dimension on the curve of the pumpkin. Raffia is something that I love working with each fall. Now I try to always look for one of the grass skirts made out of it during the summertime, and that usually does me like the whole fall season, but I forgot to get one of those, so I did have to make a special trip out to Walmart, but tied a little bow, added a little word, and I think this is the perfect shade of green. For this project, I took one of the large bubble vases. This one is actually a little bit bigger. It came from the thrift store, but still just $1. I painted it white, stuck the spackling on here, and then I'm painting this gold. I actually made this for a high-end video, but I want to share with you how I revamped it for fall. I left it this gorgeous gold color. I'm just pairing it with some of the cream-colored sunflowers, as well as some of this gorgeous eucalyptus or boxwood greenery, and stuck that in the middle. They actually have this in like different colors, and and it looks so gorgeous paired with the plain sunflowers, but I thought this was beautiful and would make the perfect centerpiece. And then this isn't any kind of mind-blowing DIY, but I had to test out playing around with this little jack-o'-lantern. Once again, I kind of had to do 2 coats to get that thick, nice texture that I wanted. The first coat just really goes on flat and I don't know, just wouldn't build up the texture like if it dries and you add a second coat. But then I go in with some orange paint and paint this, and I'm kind of going for like a vintage looking older jack-o'-lantern. I don't want him to be perfect, but I don't know, it just adds in so much fun and just kind of makes it like a whimsical piece. The spackling really does absorb so much paint, so instead of just brushing it on here, I'm just dabbing it really thick all over the entire pumpkin. And then before I let that dry, I do take a little bit of brown paint to just add in a little bit of extra detail. I feel like even the tiniest bit of a different color paint just adds so much dimension and brings it to life. I painted the little stem at the top and then put some little dots around it that I kind of blended in with some extra orange paint. I think these are perfect for like scary Halloween if you don't want everything to look all cutesy and perfect. You want it to look a little bit grungy or scary. So I think these will be so fun making more of them and putting them in like a set. Thank you guys for checking out today's video. I had so much fun using the Dollar Tree spackling. I actually use it for tons of projects all throughout the year, but it's specifically like really fun using it for fall. Don't forget to leave me that big thumbs up. Let me know in the comments down below which project was your favorite, and I'll see you in the next video. Happy crafting! Bye!